All right, folks, welcome back. Here we are, and we are fresh, the crew updated here, and we want to remind you, we have your back for your safety. Of course, all of our shoreline folks, Central, and we're reaching out to you even near the Massachusetts line. We are going to cover this storm from start through beyond finish, and you can count on us right here. We're also streaming online. Go to WTNH.com. You can get the link on there. WXEdge.com as well. I'd love to say great to see you, and I'd love to say I have some better news, but the problem is, if you were watching yesterday 24 hours ago or 20 hours ago, the forecast holds, folks. Not good news for our local area. Sandy's still a hurricane, gusting to 92, still far from Connecticut, relatively speaking, about 400 miles south of Bridgeport right now, out here over the open areas of the Atlantic Ocean. As a matter of fact, as we take a look at what's going on, we're going to see this continue to advance to the north, all right? And conditions go downhill rapidly this morning. And I'll reach out to all of you folks as far as the conditions through the day today. We're going to see that first tide as the potential to really cause a major impact late morning prior to noon today. And I'm reaching out to all of you that are up early now through the next few hours. I would say by 6 a.m. if you are going somewhere to a friend's house or a relative's house or thinking about the shelter, you need to do that over the next 3 hours. Here's the deal, folks, all right? As this thing continues to track up to the north, we're going to get into some heavier wind bands. Again, flooding rain, not the big concern with this. It's the fact that we're on the windy side of the storm track. Those computer models still turning this in. One lone soul there going out to Cape Cod. That's not the solution at all, but the strong wind band will be coming in right off the Atlantic Ocean. So a high wind warning for the entire state. Hurricane force wind warning for Long Island Sound. The problem is, folks, that's going to be pushing all the water from this side of the screen to this side. So you all know, emergency management folks down there in Greenwich, right through Norwalk, all the way through Darien, even around Westport, right up the line through Bridgeport, and even New Haven, East Haven. This is just going to cause these tide levels to go higher and higher. But the first one that can be devastating will be late morning and by lunchtime today. All right, we are on the extreme side. You're not going to see this graphic too often, folks, for years. But we're in the extreme category here, shoreline for flooding, tree damage, and power issues. Central northern areas, and even for some extent the shoreline, if you're not in that coastal flood zone with the tide, rain is really the only positive deal here. We're in the slight to moderate zone. So again, I'm not expecting huge rises on our local rivers unless you're in that tidal basin part of the river. And then as you get down here to trees inland, powers inland, and I mean just inland, let's say the Route 80 corridor, anywhere points north, huge deal when it comes to impact from wind. Already getting gusts near or around 30 miles per hour shoreline. Hey, northern Connecticut, you're not too far away. Bloomfield 23, 25 miles per hour. Eastford, Danielson 27, and Waterbury 24. As far as our gust forecast, I want to show you the specifics with towns and cities. We are still holding this 90-mile-per-hour wedge here from Norwich to Norwalk. That's the best way to think of it, folks. So this is kind of the red zone right in here. But look at this. Much of central northeastern Connecticut, about 80, and then northwest, about 70 miles per hour. Get updates at WXEdge.com. I want to turn it over to my well-rested colleague, Sam Cantro. We have a long ride ahead, Sam, but take it away.
Yeah, we do. Okay, so Gil spoke a second ago about where everything is going to be. Let me talk about the radar right now. Let's take this full screen if we can, and I'll show you that the majority of the rain bands are actually south of Long Island, and we're not going to be seeing the majority of the rain. The majority of the rain is actually going to be off to the south. The major concerns for us, of course, are the tidal flooding issues, and of course, a lot of power outages with a lot of winds. Okay, so here's the forecast for the rest of the day today. Winds are definitely going to be increasing rapidly. If you have any last-minute plans, preparations that you need to do, get them done ASAP. By the time we get to 8 o'clock this morning, winds are going to be dangerous pretty much all across the entire state. Speaking of dangerous, tides this morning expected to be very dangerous as well. High temperatures about 60 degrees. Not a tremendous amount of rain for the day today, but note those winds northeast between 20 gusting up to 90 miles an hour, like Gil said, and then tonight very rough Damaging winds all across the entire state. And again, the tides tonight also expected to be damaging, with temperatures progressively working their way up. Winds still out of the northeast between 20 and 90 miles an hour. And let's take a quick look at the 8-day forecast. A lot of rain. A relatively large amount of rain for the day today, but the big issue, like I said, it's going to be the winds and the tidal flooding for the day today. Not as much in the way of rain tomorrow. Check out the low temperatures, especially for inland Connecticut, because a lot of people are not going to be having power over the next handful of days. We're going to have a lot of very cold nights up ahead over the next handful of days. So anyway, we'll be back at 4 o'clock with team coverage. Everybody will be here, so make sure you stay tuned. You can always go to Weather Edge at wxedge.com or WTNH.com as we track Sandy.